Good morning, my loves. Welcome to Misfit Ministries. I am Erica, your host. So today's topic is going to be addiction. So let's talk about it, right? So what exactly is addiction? So by definition, it says physically and mentally dependent on a particular substance and unable to stop taking it without adverse effects. So let me just point out that addiction is not just substances. Addiction can be money, addiction can be social media, it can be drugs. All right. So we are talking about this topic today because I have a lot of people that I am actually really, really proud of because they are in sober living or they're in recovery houses or they're actually in active recovery. And I love that for them. So we're going to talk about this because recovery is absolutely 100% possible. It is absolutely possible, and you can do it, and you can get those demons off you, and I'm here to tell you you can. So that's why we're going to talk about this topic, and it's going to be a little hard, make it a little emotional, but I just want you guys to know you're not alone. And I just want people to be mindful that a lot of people in active addiction did not choose this. And I will get into that more. But they did not choose this. And people need to show some grace because, that could be you. And don't ever say that could never be me. Because, baby, I promise, that could be you. The homeless person you're making fun of, that could be you. The person on the side of the road, their car broke down, that could be you. All right? So, again, addiction is not just drugs, but we are talking about, obviously active addiction, and this is mostly about drugs. But a recovery is possible. All right, so my experience with addiction. Now, I am going to say this, and this is not a brag because, addiction is very hard to overcome, but thankfully, when I went through my moments, nothing put their claws in me deep enough where I was addicted and spiraled. Now, when I say that, I used to be a crash out queen. When I say crash out queen, like I used to act up. As a matter of fact, the first time I ever tried cocaine, let's talk about it. My ex, I will not say her name, but she was in active addiction. I pray that she is either not in active addiction or she's recovered or whatever. But the reason I tried cocaine was because my ex was an active user. And I will say, and I love her for this, she did not ever try to get me on it. She was like, no, I don't want you to do this. This is my battle. This is my demon. Don't ever do it. Blase, whatever. But when it started affecting my life, I was like, what does this have on her? Like, what hold do these drugs have on you? Like, what is going on? One night, I was working in a place I should not be. I was making skipper money. And I was also doing stuff I shouldn't be doing. So I had access to her product. Well, one night, she was cheating on me. I came home. I had some stuff on me, and I couldn't find her. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Well, I put two and two together, and I was pissed. I was so mad. I was like looking at the bag, and I was looking at myself in the mirror, and I was like, I want to know. Like, I've dealt with addicts my whole life. Like, what the fuck is in this bag that is taking everybody from me? Like, what the fuck is so good about this shit? Like, why? I was pissed. I called my homeboy, and I was like, yo, I'm about to do this. And he's like, don't do that, please. He's like, please don't do that, Erica. And I was like, look, you're either going to do it with me because you already do it, or I'm going to do it by myself. And he was like, I'd honestly rather you be safe do it. And he's like, so if you're going to do it, at least come do it with me. And I was like, bet. And I did it. And I did not like it. I'm so glad I did not like it. I will say I probably tried it about 8 times in my life. The last time I tried it, it was in front of me. Everybody was peer pressuring me. And as I was coming down, I really remembered, I was like, this is exactly why you don't do this shit. And I felt horrible. And I was spinning. Now, just because I got away that easy does not mean other people get away that easy. Because they don't. They do not. And I do have an addiction problem. And it's not with drugs. Mine is with money. Okay? So that's how we get on the topic of all addictions is not just drugs. I used to live a lifestyle where it was very fast paced. I used to make a lot of money. I used to do crash out shit. I'm not saying I used to sell, I never used to prostitute. Never was on a corner. Let me just clarify that. I have worked in strip clubs. I have also done OnlyFans. I have done other things. So I was very about my money. I also kept my morals intact and I did stuff a certain way. But before I had kids, baby, I was acting up. I thought I was a grown man, and I was a 5'2" female hanging out with all these ballers and hustlers, and let's get it. And that is not good, okay? I fear for my kids in this world because the streets is just as bad as an addiction as drugs. Money, selling drugs, making money, it's intoxicating. Okay, sitting at a table and counting a bunch of bands and having weed around you, partying, chilling, like that really puts its hooks in you. And not only that, when you make money by any means necessary, and we'll talk about that too, that'll be another topic. People sell drugs, people rob people, people do whatever they need to do to get money. Now granted, that is not a good avenue to make money. It's not. I have not worked in a strip club in years. I have not been a street pharmacist in years. You know what I'm saying? So I am very, very proud of myself in my own recovery, because it would be very easy for me to be like, screw this, I'm gonna go sell weed. Screw this, I'm gonna go work at a strip club, or you know what I'm saying? It would be so easy. And sometimes, I'll be struggling and there's ways that I know I could make money. And I have to fight myself because I'm like, no, you are not that person. You are a mother. You are better than that. So in addiction, people go through the same thing with drugs, okay? And a lot of drug addicts do not want this addiction. They didn't choose it, okay? I know people that have went to doctors because they had chronic pain and they got addicted to pain pills. I remember when I was pregnant with my son, okay? They gave me Klonopin and they gave me Ativan. They gave me a bunch of stuff for anxiety, okay? And they also told me to, garden while pregnant because it was helping me eat. Well, one day I sat there and I was taking my medicine as prescribed and I was gardening and I stopped, and I was early in my pregnancy and I was like, I like this too much. And what scared me was I was having a bad day. I was very anxious, and I think I took 2 pills at one time when it was supposed to be like 1 as needed. And Jaden kicked in my stomach and I stopped. And I literally started bawling because I was like, what am I doing? Like, my doctors almost really messed me up bad. So it's not always somebody's choice. It's really not. And when you look at an addict, I can almost promise you that they don't want to be like that. They don't want to be homeless. They don't want to be going through it. And a lot of people are scared of withdrawals. Do you know how bad it is to go through withdrawals? Withdrawals are horrible. I have dated addicts. I have been the sober person. I have been the person to be like, hey, let me get you off drugs, because I hate how bad addiction is. And I hate how it's affected people in my life and what it's done. This is obviously going to be probably a couple-part video because I just realized I'm getting close to my timer. But they did not choose this, okay? And a lot of people, they don't think they have a problem, and they are going to have to realize it's a problem before they're going to want to get help. A lot of people know it's a problem and they don't know how to get help. And then there's some people that are just crashing out. And that's why we need to show people grace, because that could be any one of us. Anything could happen. You could get in a car wreck and then end up being an addict tomorrow because they put you on a prescription. Somebody could spike your drink or do something. Not everybody was just like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go do some heroin today. Let me go smoke some crack. That's not how it starts. There's always a story. There's always a reason or a person or something that happened that put that in their path and made that possible. I have 15 seconds left, so there is part 2. Tune in. I hope you guys enjoyed so far. I love you guys so big. But yeah, tune in for part 2.